because it's not hooked up right.
And they put a connector on it.
Welcome to the Thirsty Garage and Homestead. My name is Mike. In today's video, it's going to be quick and easy. We're going to swap the gauges out on this thing because the old gauges are broke. I personally like having gauges because I want to see what's going on with the engine. So I'll show you that just in case you've never hooked these up. These are mechanical gauges. They're pretty simple. I'll kind of explain a few things as we go, but I want to get those swapped. And if I can, I think I want to try to swap this handle to this side of the PTO just because the mill's going to be here and the belts are going to be right here. So I'm trying to think, I'm going to have to engage it like this if we leave it where it's at, or swap it to the other side and I'll be able to stand out here and engage it. I don't know, we'll try it, but I want to get the gauges swapped out, fire the engine up, make sure everything's working. And I haven't ever seen any temperature on this, so I'm going to probably let it idle for a while because I'd like to see the temperature start coming up on it. And the voltmeter, I'll go ahead and I'll just check these wires. I'm not sure if the wires are any good or not, but that way we can at least see if the battery's charging from the alternator. It's quick and easy, so let's get started. Okay, and one of the things I don't like how they did the temperature part, they cooled it up like that. These, you don't want to kink it. If you kink it, that gauge isn't going to work anymore. So main thing you need to remember on the coolant, you can find a port in the head somewhere or this coolant passage right here. So we're just going to pull it straight out from where it's at, put the new one in, but I'm going to try to loop it in a circle and insert it that way. That way, less likely of a chance to kink it and it not work. And the oil hose, I'm not a fan of the spaghetti noodle style, but it just runs right down here, brass ferrule into the back of the gauge itself. Not hard, but I'd rather have some sort of braided line with an AN fitting on it, but we're gonna use what it came with because that's what we got. Okay, I'm just gonna bend these gauges up so I can see kind of how they mounted it. Just a couple little 5/16 bolts through it, that's all. Something quick and easy, but I'm gonna go ahead, undo the spaghetti string, undo both wires off the voltage gauge, and then that one will stay connected. But you can see they just put two little 5/16 there. Bend that forward just so we can kind of get to everything. I mean, obviously these aren't good anymore, so do this. And on that spaghetti string, when we cut it, we're going to take a razor blade to it. You don't want to use side cutters because you will actually kink that off, but we'll take a razor blade, cut that, and that'll be good to go. It's a smaller size. These wires, them insulators, it's just brittle from where it's sat out in the sun. These really need replaced. I got to track them down anyways because I can't see what side was positive and what was negative. Looks like this one here just goes straight to the back of the alternator, so that's our output, and this should be some sort of ground. Not sure where they ran it. Nope, it's ran down to the starter. Gauges. So it's going to mount like so. So all those gauges are going to be upside down. So that'll be the first thing. Go ahead and swap all these around so we can see them. And if you wanted them in a different orientation, it's just as quick and easy as popping them out and moving them where you want. Okay, so that's going to work out better. Low pressure, voltage, and water temp. And it even has a sticker right here about kinking it. Don't kink it or it's not going to work. So I need to get a new bolt, put in there, and let's get this thing mounted. All right, so the gauges are now mounted. I got to checking on the wiring. I'll kind of show you what I came up with. So on the back of the gauges here, you've got a minus and a positive right here. Those are the two lugs that you'll hook everything to. And this wire right here goes all the way up and around and hooks to the alternator. That's your positive outlet of the alternator, which really should be hooked to the battery, but it's not. It's right here. So it's running basically only over to this gauge. And the other side should be your ground, which is going to be this wire. If you track it down, it hooks up to this, which is the positive side. This goes to your positive terminal on your battery. So they've got it hooked to both positives. So the ground should come down to here or straight to the battery, and the wire on the alternator should go to the battery, and then a wire from it up to the gauge. So I don't think that gauge has probably ever worked for him because it's not hooked up right, unless these other gauges hook up differently. But I double checked with the instruction manual, and yeah, one goes to positive, one goes to negative. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and take the spaghetti line, wrong size. We'll take the spaghetti line loose because we're going to use new. It came with new, just as well use new. That is it. Brass ferrule, spaghetti string, that's it. There's the new spaghetti string. That's the fittings for the oil pressure. It'll have different adapters and stuff to make it kind of universal. Lights we're not hooking up, and these are adapters for the coolant passage. All right, let's go ahead and get this ready. You don't want to kink this stuff either, but it's going to try to curl up on you. We'll cut that off and have us at least a starting point. Right here, remember I said don't cut it with pliers or dikes. Okay, there we go. You cut it with the razor blade, you'll not have any pinches or smash down on it to get those ferrules over it. So for starters, I'll go ahead and make up the engine side. We'll get that put on, and then we'll route it up to the gauge itself. We need that and that. That's all it is. That's how it seals into there. And it really just depends on your fitting, but usually about that much. Poke it down in there and then start this, tighten it up. Okay, and it's a simple poking that back in there, starting the bolt or the brass nut. And once we start this, we will check all our fittings, make sure we don't have any leaks. I'm going to turn that just a little bit. Yeah, that'll probably be fine. We'll just leave it the length of the old one. Let me get my ferrule and nut. That's in. And this is brass. You don't have to get totally crazy with it. And this I am going to go ahead and, this is the one from the alternator. No, I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to fix that. And really the ground, you could just loop down into where this nut is, and that may be what we do. Loop it back down to the mounting bolt. That'll probably be good enough. Best ground would be back to the battery. And as far as this goes here, I'll just make up another wire to hook to the alternator and run it down to the battery. I just don't want, I don't even know if this alternator works. I haven't put a voltmeter on it, but if it does, I don't want just a 12 volt positive ring terminal floating around, so at least that'll keep it up out of the way. All right, next step, let's get this coolant gauge hooked up. We are going to make a little bit of a mess doing this, but that's to be expected. And it's 5/8. Yep, here's where we make a mess. You're not coming out as bad as I thought. Not too bad of a mess. Quick and easy, not hard. The spaghetti line, once I start it, I'll probably crack that loose just to try to get some of that air out of there. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference on pressure, but I mean, it could, because air does compress, whereas fluids do not. So go ahead and double check this. Yeah, it's right there, close to the top. Okay, I am gonna go ahead and get this side hooked up here, but we are going to change it down there and run it to an actual ground. That way we can at least see what the alternator's putting out, but the way all this is wired up, there's nothing coming off the alternator, so the battery is not going to charge as it should. Unless, no, it's not going to. Okay, so this is the wire that they've got hooked to the ground. That is obviously not the ground, that is. So, let's see if we can get that taken off of there. Yep, that's it. And then put a connector on it. So that wire and that ground both go to the start switch. That's so really, we're gonna have to fix some of this. I can't let this go. I guess it works. Works for now. Not pretty. Okay, that's that one. Yeah, we're just gonna fix this. We're gonna loop this right back down into here. So somewhere right in there, we're gonna clip it. And it should be fine there. Good enough. Okay, I've got two different terminals. One you can slip up in there. I'd much rather use a ring style, as long as that's the right size. It is, so we'll use that. Well, at least it is a good big heavy wire. This really needs to be soldered. And we get the battery hooked up, and we're going to start this thing. Check the leaks. And let it warm up. we're starting to get a little temperature in it. All right, my eyes are starting to burn. Temperature gauge, like most diesels, it takes a while for them to warm up. It started coming up. Oil pressure looked good. Voltmeter, I'm just gonna have to run new wires and wire it up like it should be. But I'm not gonna be able to swap the PTO engagement lever like I was hoping. Not yet anyways, but you can see somebody welded the end of that thing. So I'm gonna have to grind all this down, get all that weld off, then I'll be able to swap it. And let me unhook these. But everyone, I know that was quick and easy. Just kind of wanted to show you. It's been raining all day. It's going to be raining tomorrow, and it's rained a bunch this week. But I wanted to get this done, something I could do inside the shop and stay out of the rain. But hopefully you learned something. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.